What have scientists uncovered about how meditation affects the brain? Mindfulness-based meditation is the simple practice of paying attention to the present moment, usually your breath. And in this way, what it forces your mind to do is to stop wandering, stop distracting itself, and just focus on one simple part of the present moment. And this simple practice helps to build up your sense of self-control, helps de-stress the body, and has even been shown to maybe treat mental illness. If you're like most of us, stress is just a part of daily life. You probably wake up to a blaring alarm clock in the morning, fight traffic several times a day. You probably work at a computer for many hours a day, and all of these things can add to your stress level. And stress tends to build throughout the day unless you have a way to relieve stress. Stress itself is not a bad thing. It leads to the release of a lot of neurochemicals like adrenaline, cortisol, and norepinephrine, which actually help you to think more clearly and quickly, and even boost your immune system temporarily. The problem with stress, though, is if you undergo it in the long term, because eventually these neurochemicals start wearing down on your body and brain. Meditation has been shown to be one of the most effective ways to switch these stress responses off and start up what we call the parasympathetic nervous system, which is often called the rest and digest system. So in this way, you start releasing neurochemicals that are sort of the opposite of adrenaline, cortisol, and norepinephrine. Things like noradrenaline, which help to calm down heart rate and increase vascular blood flow throughout the body. Things like GABA and melatonin, which help to bring down brain activity and actually help the brain heal. And also serotonin, which is a mood regulator. It helps you feel calm and peaceful. So in this way, a daily meditation practice helps to regulate stress so that you don't get too stressed for too long and it doesn't become a problem for your body and brain. Meditation for your brain is a little bit like sleep. It helps your brain to enter a lower level of activity, and this actually allows each individual neuron to shrink a little bit in size. And this in turn allows for cerebral spinal fluid to flush through all those neurons and take away waste. Several studies find that meditation especially helps to flush away something called beta amyloids, which is like a plaque that builds up in the brain. And lots of studies have linked beta amyloids to brain disorders like Alzheimer's and dementia. In fact, studies of seniors who meditate find that their brains act and look 10 years younger than their actual age. So meditation does a lot to improve the health of your body and brain. And many physicians are even saying that meditation might be just as essential to keeping you healthy as exercise and a well-balanced diet. Another benefit of meditation is that it helps increase your self-control and emotion regulation, or your ability to control your own behavior and not be overwhelmed by your emotions. Meditation acts like an exercise for your brain, building it up like a muscle, especially the prefrontal cortex, which is the center for self-awareness and behavior and emotional control. During meditation, you exercise your self-control by focusing and maintaining control over your attention, making sure that it doesn't wander all over the place, thinking about the past or the future, just staying in the present moment. And this, again, exercises your sense of self-control and builds it over time. It actually strengthens the internal networks of the prefrontal cortex and maintains better control over the rest of your brain. Scientists are beginning to discover that consciousness is like a two-way street, with one route going from your senses in your parietal lobe, so a sense of touch, smell, sight, and hearing, to your consciousness in your prefrontal cortex. And the other track going from your prefrontal cortex, thoughts, feelings, emotions, back to the rest of your brain to direct behavior. Now, usually one of these routes is more in control at any given moment than the other. And in fact, when one increases activity, the other one tends to dampen its activity. And what meditation does is really enliven the track coming from your senses to your prefrontal cortex, to your sense of self-awareness. And by doing this, it does two things. It helps to dampen thoughts and gives your prefrontal cortex a break, helps to de-stress it. But it also makes the prefrontal cortex take more control over its own functioning. And in this way, you have an easier time regulating your thoughts and emotions later on. And lots of studies are finding that the practice of meditation does help people to do things like quit addictions, so control unwanted behaviors like overeating and smoking, and also control their emotions, not being so overrun by anxiety and anger, for example. And this practice is so successful that it's starting to be implemented in schools, because that's one thing that kids have a hard time with from the time they're little to teenagers is controlling their own thoughts, emotions, and behavior. And in fact, school programs that use meditation have seen a lot of success. In general, they find that throughout elementary to high school, if they implement a daily meditation practice for the kids in school, test scores tend to increase about 10 to 15%. It helps kids concentrate, stay more focused, and do better in school. They also find that absenteeism and conduct problems tend to go down dramatically. The kids have a way easier time controlling their own behavior and not being overrun by their emotions. And a recent study found that if college students meditated just 20 minutes a day for 6 weeks, their GRE scores, the scores on the graduate requisite exam, went up about 16%. This really shows how meditation takes advantage of the malleability and plasticity of the brain, especially in younger people, helping them to maintain better control over their emotions, behavior, and even thinking. And the last great advantage of meditation is that it's been shown to be incredibly helpful for people with mental illness. Again, by helping people maintain better control over their thoughts, feelings, and behavior, someone can help manage any kind of maladaptive emotions like anxiety or depression, or behavior like suicidal intentions and addictions. Over the last decade, there's been a huge increase in attention and awareness in meditation's ability to help treat mental illness. This in large part was started by Dr. Kabat-Zinn, who brought Zen meditation and made it into a secular practice for people with mood disorders, especially depression and anxiety. And already, hundreds of studies have tested his program called mindfulness-based stress reduction, and results show that this program helps people with almost all types of mental illness, especially when it's combined with regular types of cognitive behavioral therapy and medication. So meditation helps people with mental illness in 3 ways. It helps to alleviate stress, which can lessen symptoms of mental illness or prevent it altogether. It helps increase self-control over thoughts, behavior, and emotions by increasing connectivity in the prefrontal cortex. And it helps decrease worrying thoughts. So as you can see, meditation has many benefits for almost everyone who practices it. From children to adults to people with mental illness, it can increase self-control, help people de-stress, and also help slow down the aging of the brain. So if you'd like to try out meditation for yourself, I have some helpful links in the comments below. Or you can go to cvsit.org. This is a website I maintain, and I put on a lot of links to help people with guided meditations. And so all you need to do is find a quiet place, 20 or 30 minutes to sit down by yourself, close your eyes, and follow along with a guided meditation track, or simply just pay attention to the sensations of your breath. Meditation is an incredibly simple practice that yields extraordinary benefits.